A killer whale off the coast of South Africa has been caught on camera hunting and killing a great white shark in less than 2 minutes.
Imagine being on a rough ocean voyage near the southern tip of South America, in a place where the seas are famously wild and unpredictable. The waves crash around the boat as the crew scans the horizon, hoping to catch a glimpse of something extraordinary. Suddenly, a group of sleek black and white shapes breaks the surface, killer whales or orcas, but unlike any the team has ever seen before. This moment, caught on camera for the first time in 2019 near Cape Horn, marked the discovery of a completely new type of orca, stirring excitement and wonder among scientists and ocean lovers alike. Ready? Type D Orca. Orcas, often called killer whales, have long been known as one of the ocean's most iconic creatures.
All the different types of killer whales, who might be the most diverse species in the ocean. Long believed to be one species, Orcas orca,
Their striking black and white coloring and impressive size make them stand out, and their reputation as top predators adds to their mystique. However, despite decades of research, the oceans still hold secrets about these fascinating animals. This discovery proves just how much we still have to learn. Most people think of orcas as a single species found all over the world's oceans, but the truth is far more complex. Scientists have been uncovering different ecotypes, or varieties of orcas, that vary in behavior, diet, and genetics. These differences are so pronounced that some researchers argue they should be considered separate species altogether. The newly documented orca near Cape Horn, sometimes called the Type D Orca, is unlike any known group and adds a new chapter to this story. This new orca has a distinctive look that sets it apart from the well-studied orcas of the North Pacific and Antarctic waters. It has a rounded head, a small eye patch, and a pointed dorsal fin, features that are not common among other orca populations. The discovery challenges previous ideas about orca diversity and forces scientists to rethink how many types of orcas really exist. In this video, we will dive into what makes this newly discovered orca so unique. We will explore the history of orca research, the characteristics of known orca types, and the thrilling expedition that finally brought this elusive group into the scientific spotlight. We'll also look at the genetic evidence that points to this orca being a separate species or a very distinct subspecies. Beyond the science, this discovery carries important implications for conservation and our understanding of the ocean's complex ecosystems. The oceans are still full of mysteries, and the discovery of this new orca type is a reminder that nature continues to surprise us. As we learn more, it becomes clear that protecting these magnificent creatures is not only about saving individual animals, but also about preserving the rich diversity of life beneath the waves. Why orcas matter? When you think of orcas, you might picture a single, unified species of striking black and white whales cruising through oceans worldwide. But orcas, scientifically known as Orcas orca, are far more complex and diverse than most people realize. Despite being called killer whales, orcas are actually the largest members of the dolphin family. They are found in every ocean, from the icy poles to tropical seas, adapting to a wide range of environments and food sources. What makes orcas especially fascinating is their diversity. Scientists have identified different groups known as ecotypes. Each ecotype has its own distinct behavior, diet, vocal patterns, and even genetic makeup. These differences are so significant that some researchers believe these ecotypes might be separate species or subspecies rather than just variations within a single species. Let's start by looking at the best-studied orcas, the Northern Pacific populations. Here, researchers have identified two main ecotypes with very different lifestyles. The resident orcas mainly eat fish, especially salmon. They travel in stable family groups, called pods, and have complex social structures with unique vocal dialects. On the other hand, the bigs, or transient orcas, primarily hunt marine mammals like seals and sea lions. They are more solitary and stealthy hunters, moving quietly through their territories. These two northern Pacific ecotypes rarely interbreed despite overlapping ranges, which hints at the idea that they are distinct evolutionary groups. Their differences in diet and behavior have even led some scientists to propose formally splitting them into separate species. Moving south, orcas living around Antarctica are even more diverse. Scientists have identified several ecotypes, often labeled with letters like type A, B, C, and now D. Each of these has unique physical characteristics and prey preferences. For example, type A orcas look like the classic orca and hunt seals and whales in open waters. Type B orcas come in two forms: a larger form that hunts seals on ice floes and a smaller form that eats fish. Type C orcas are smaller, with a distinct rounded head and feed mostly on fish beneath the Antarctic ice. Then there's the mysterious Type D Orca, the newly discovered group near Cape Horn. Type D orcas are rare and elusive. They have a different appearance compared to their Antarctic relatives, with a rounded head, a small eye patch, and a pointed dorsal fin. Because sightings are so uncommon, scientists have only recently started to study them up close. This variety of orca types reflects how adaptable and specialized these animals are. Each ecotype has evolved to thrive in its unique environment and hunting niche. Orcas' ability to specialize in different prey types and social structures is one of the reasons they are such successful predators. The discovery of new orca types challenges our understanding of their biology and evolution. It also raises important questions about conservation. Some orca populations are in decline, threatened by pollution, loss of prey, and human activity. If different ecotypes or species have specific needs and behaviors, conservation efforts must be tailored to protect each group effectively. For example, the southern resident orcas, a well-known population off the coast of the Pacific Northwest, primarily eat Chinook salmon and have faced serious population drops. Protecting their food source and habitat is critical for their survival. Understanding orca diversity helps scientists and policymakers design better protection plans that reflect the unique characteristics of each group. In short, orcas are not just one species, but a collection of diverse groups that have adapted to various oceanic conditions and prey. Their ecological roles, social complexity, and behaviors make them one of the most intriguing marine mammals. As we learn more about the new Type D orca, it becomes clear that the oceans still hold many secrets. Each new discovery adds to the story of how life evolves and adapts in the marine world. Discovery and distinctive features. The story of the Type D orca reads like a marine mystery novel, one that's been unfolding for decades, with sightings scattered across the remote southern oceans, but very little hard evidence. For years, this orca remained largely unknown to science, a shadow in the vast and stormy waters near Antarctica and the southern tip of South America. The first real clues came not from scientists, but from fishermen, sailors, and whale watchers. They noticed a strange orca that didn't quite look like the familiar black and white giants seen elsewhere. These reports dated back as far as the 50s, with a famous stranding on a New Zealand beach in 1955, where an orca with unusual features washed ashore. Later, sightings were recorded near the Crozet Islands in the southern Indian Ocean and other isolated southern waters. But these were mostly anecdotal, and the animals were rarely photographed or studied. The breakthrough came in December 2019, when a team from the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, NOAA, set out on a daring expedition near Cape Horn. The area is known for brutal weather, massive waves, freezing winds, and swirling currents that have challenged sailors for centuries. Despite these challenges, the NOAA scientists were determined to find and film this mysterious orca group. After days of rough seas and uncertain conditions, their patience was rewarded. They encountered a pod of about 25 individuals, the largest group ever documented for this orca type. The team was able to film and photograph the animals up close, capturing details that had never been clearly seen before. It was a moment of pure scientific discovery. What makes the type D orca so striking is how different it looks from other orcas. Unlike the well-known orcas of the Northern Hemisphere, which have tall, straight dorsal fins and sharply defined eye patches, the type D has a noticeably rounded head and a small, crescent-shaped eye patch. Its dorsal fin is narrow and pointed, quite distinct from the broad, triangular fins of other orca types. In terms of size, type D orcas tend to be smaller than many other orca populations. They measure around 5 to 6 meters in length, compared to some northern ecotypes that can grow much larger. This smaller size may relate to their unique lifestyle and prey choices, which scientists are still working to understand. The coloration is also different. While still predominantly black and white, the white markings are less sharply defined. The overall body shape is more streamlined, and the head is less angular. These physical differences suggest that the type D orca has adapted to its environment in unique ways. One particularly interesting feature is the very small eye patch. In most orcas, the white eye patch is a prominent and defining characteristic, thought to play a role in communication and identification within pods. The reduced size in type D orcas raises questions about their social behavior and how they recognize each other. Because these orcas live in some of the most remote and harshest marine environments on Earth, they have been extremely difficult to study. The rough seas and cold waters near Antarctica make field research challenging, which explains why it took so long for scientists to get clear evidence. Still, the 2019 expedition marked a turning point. Not only did it provide photographic proof of the type D orca's existence, but it also allowed researchers to collect biopsy samples for genetic analysis. This was the first time such data was gathered in the wild for this orca type, opening the door to new insights about their place in the orca family tree. In addition to the physical features, researchers began analyzing the behavior of the type D orcas. While detailed studies are still in early stages, initial observations suggest these whales may have specialized hunting habits, possibly feeding on different prey than their Antarctic cousins. They might target fish species that are abundant in the southern oceans, such as the Patagonian toothfish, which would explain some of their adaptations. The discovery of the type D orca is a reminder of how much remains to be explored in the ocean's depths. Even well-known animals like orcas can surprise us with hidden diversity and unknown stories. Each new piece of information adds richness to our understanding of marine life and highlights the importance of protecting these animals and their habitats. The type D orca stands as a symbol of the ocean's mysteries, a creature both familiar and strange, known but still largely a secret. As research continues, scientists hope to learn more about their social structures, vocalizations, and how they fit into the broader marine ecosystem. In the coming years, this elusive orca will likely be at the center of more scientific studies, conservation efforts, and hopefully, public fascination. For now, the images and data from that 2019 expedition remain some of the most valuable windows into this remarkable group of whales. Is the type D orca a new species? One of the most exciting aspects of the type D orca discovery isn't just how it looks or where it lives. It's what the DNA tells us about its place in the orca family.
Killer whales, or orcas, can be as charismatic as they are powerful. But even though they number roughly 50,000 and are seen and photographed around the world, they can still surprise researchers.
Genetic research has become a powerful tool for understanding the relationships between different animal populations, and orcas are no exception. The genetic data collected during the 2019 expedition and other efforts provide clues that the type D orca might be more than just another variety. It could actually be a new species, or at least a distinct subspecies. When scientists talk about species, they usually mean groups of animals that don't interbreed with others in the wild or that have significant genetic differences. But with orcas, it's complicated. Because orca ecotypes often live in overlapping ranges but don't mix, they challenge traditional species concepts. That's why genetic studies are so important. They help us understand how closely related these groups really are. The DNA samples taken from type D orcas were compared to those from other known orca populations. The results were fascinating. The type D orca showed clear genetic differences from the other Antarctic ecotypes and from the Northern Hemisphere orcas. This means that over many thousands of years, the type D group has been evolving separately, developing unique traits. One genetic study published a few years ago showed that the type D orca diverged from its closest relatives somewhere between 100,000 to 200,000 years ago. While that might seem like a long time, in evolutionary terms, it's relatively recent. Still, it's enough time for important physical and behavioral differences to emerge. The question now is whether those differences are enough to call the type D orca a separate species. Some scientists argue yes, pointing to the unique physical features, the genetic data, and the fact that these whales likely don't breed with other orca groups. Others suggest they are a distinct subspecies or a unique ecotype. The debate is ongoing. Adding to the mystery is the fact that type D orcas seem to inhabit very specific environments, mostly subantarctic and temperate waters around the southern tip of South America and parts of the southern Indian Ocean. This geographic isolation likely played a big role in their evolutionary path, creating natural barriers that kept them separate from other orca populations. Speciation, or the process by which new species form, often happens when populations become isolated and adapt to their particular habitats. Over generations, genetic mutations accumulate, and natural selection favors traits that help animals survive and reproduce in their specific conditions. For type D orcas, their unique adaptations in appearance, size, and possibly diet reflect this evolutionary journey. This discovery also challenges the way scientists classify orcas worldwide. If type D orcas are recognized as a separate species, it means the orca family tree is more complex than previously thought. It could lead to re-examining other populations and ecotypes for hidden diversity. The implications don't stop at taxonomy. Understanding genetic differences matters greatly for conservation. Protecting a species or a distinct population requires knowing its genetic uniqueness and ecological needs. If type D orcas are genetically distinct, they may face different threats than other orca groups and require tailored conservation efforts. For example, if their prey species are different or their habitat is more limited, human activities like fishing, shipping, and climate change might impact them differently. Without recognizing their uniqueness, conservation policies could overlook their specific needs. Fortunately, advances in technology are helping scientists gather more data, even from these remote regions. Genetic sampling through biopsy darts, improved underwater recording devices, and satellite tracking give researchers new ways to study the behavior, migration, and population size of these elusive whales. As more data accumulates, it's likely that the type D orca will get a clearer place in the orca family tree. Whether as a new species or a distinct subspecies, what's certain is that this discovery enriches our understanding of life in the oceans. In the bigger picture, it reminds us how dynamic evolution is, even in groups we think we know well. The ocean, vast and mostly unexplored, continues to surprise us with new creatures and new stories of adaptation and survival. What could the secret lives of type D orcas teach us about social intelligence? Imagine a pod of orcas gliding silently through icy, storm-tossed waters near the southern tip of South America. Unlike the orcas you've seen in documentaries or theme parks, these whales carry an air of mystery, not just because they're rarely spotted, but because their social world might be unlike anything we've encountered. Orcas are often called the wolves of the sea for their tight-knit family groups and cooperative hunting. But what if one group's social life rewrites that story? For decades, researchers have marveled at the sophisticated societies of northern Pacific orcas. Resident orcas live in matrilineal pods with clear family ties, sharing distinct dialects of calls, like regional accents passed down through generations. Transient orcas, by contrast, are stealthy loners or small groups, practicing silent stalking and ambush hunting. Their social styles reflect the demands of their prey and environment. But the type D orca, we're just starting to unravel their story. Their smaller eye patches and different body shapes hint at a communication style that might be less reliant on visual signals and more on sounds or even behaviors we haven't fully understood yet. Could these orcas have developed a secret language adapted to the low-light, murky waters they inhabit? Might their social bonds be more fluid or mysterious, with connections forged through song-like calls that travel miles through the ocean? Or are they loners, like their transient cousins, roaming the southern seas alone, but forever connected by subtle cues? What fascinates scientists most is the possibility that these whales have evolved social strategies perfectly tuned to the challenges of their remote and harsh habitat. Their world is one of powerful currents, unpredictable weather, and patchy food supplies. In such a place, the ability to adapt socially, knowing when to band together and when to hunt solo, could mean the difference between survival and extinction. And orcas are masters of adaptation. Other ecotypes have been observed passing down hunting techniques, like using waves to wash seals off ice floes or carousel feeding fish by herding them into tight balls. Could the type D orcas have their own unique cultural tricks we've yet to glimpse? Scientists are racing to find out. Thanks to underwater microphones and remote cameras, glimpses into their social life are slowly emerging. Early clues suggest that, despite the harshness of their environment, type D orcas might be incredibly social, maintaining bonds through hauntingly beautiful calls echoing beneath the waves. Their story reminds us that orca intelligence and social complexity are not fixed, but can change dramatically in response to environment and need. The type D orca could hold secrets about the evolution of social intelligence itself, how communities form, communicate, and survive in the wildest corners of the planet. As we uncover their world, these elusive whales challenge us to rethink what we know about the ocean's smartest creatures. They beckon us to listen closely, to the echoes in the deep, the stories told in whale song, and the silent signals that bind a pod together against the odds. Orcas versus sharks. In the chilly, remote waters where type D orcas roam, the ocean hosts some of the fiercest predators on Earth, sharks included. While great white sharks and other large shark species patrol these southern seas, the type D orca stands out as a top contender in this underwater arena, possibly dominating these fierce rivals in ways scientists are only beginning to understand. Orcas around the world are known for occasionally hunting sharks, using intelligence and teamwork to overpower even the ocean's most feared hunters. The question is, do type D orcas living in the harsh subantarctic environment engage in similar battles? Given their robust bodies and social nature, it's likely they do, though the specifics remain a mystery. The southern oceans are home to various shark species, including the notorious great white shark and the broad-nose seven-gill shark, both powerful predators in their own right. Unlike sharks, Type D orcas hunt in pods, coordinating strategies that allow them to outmaneuver and outwit their prey. This social hunting advantage gives them a significant edge in confrontations with solitary sharks. Scientists speculate that Type D orcas might employ clever tactics like flipping sharks upside down to induce tonic immobility, a temporary paralysis that makes sharks vulnerable. This technique, documented in orcas elsewhere, turns the hunter into the hunted in a heartbeat. These predator clashes aren't just dramatic moments. They play a crucial role in shaping the marine ecosystem. When orcas push shark numbers down or alter their behavior, it affects the entire food web, influencing which species thrive or decline. In the fragile sub-Antarctic waters, these dynamics could have ripple effects impacting fish stocks and other marine life crucial to the ocean's balance. As research continues, learning more about how Type D orcas interact with sharks will help us understand their role as apex predators in one of the planet's most extreme environments, and why their conservation matters not just for them, but for the whole Southern Ocean ecosystem. Conservation and the future of the Type D orca. Discovering a new type of orca isn't just an exciting scientific headline. It carries real weight when it comes to conservation and the future of marine ecosystems. The Type D orca's emergence from mystery to scientific recognition highlights how much we still don't know about ocean life and how urgent it is to protect what remains. Orcas are often seen as symbols of the wild ocean, intelligent, social, and powerful creatures that inspire awe. But many orca populations face serious threats. Pollution, habitat loss, declining prey, and human disturbances have put some groups at risk of extinction. The southern resident orcas off the coast of the Pacific Northwest, for example, have been the subject of intense conservation efforts due to their dramatic population decline. The newly identified Type D orca, with its limited known range around the sub-Antarctic waters near South America and the southern Indian Ocean, could be vulnerable in similar ways. Its rarity and elusive nature make it difficult to assess how many individuals exist and what threats they face. This lack of data means they could be in trouble without us even knowing. One concern is the impact of commercial fishing in these southern ocean regions. If Type D orcas depend on specific prey species like Patagonian toothfish or other fish, overfishing could reduce their food supply and threaten their survival. Additionally, the effects of climate change, warming waters, shifting fish populations, and changing ocean chemistry could disrupt their habitat and prey availability. Shipping traffic is another factor. The southern oceans are seeing increased commercial activity, including shipping lanes and fishing fleets. Noise pollution from ships can interfere with orca communication, which relies heavily on sound for navigation, hunting, and social bonding. Disturbance from vessels might also cause stress or force the whales to abandon critical habitats. Conservationists emphasize that recognizing the Type D orca as a distinct group is the first step toward protecting it. Without formal recognition, these whales may not receive the legal protections needed to ensure their survival. It also helps prioritize research funding to monitor populations and study their ecology more closely. The discovery also offers an opportunity to raise public awareness about ocean biodiversity. People often connect more deeply with charismatic animals like orcas, making them ideal ambassadors for marine conservation. Learning about the hidden diversity within orcas can inspire support for protecting entire ecosystems. International cooperation will be crucial. The Type D orca's range crosses multiple national waters and international seas. requiring countries to work together on conservation policy. Organizations like the International Whaling Commission and regional fisheries management bodies can play important roles in regulating fishing and shipping activities. In a broader sense, the Type D orca reminds us that the ocean is a dynamic and interconnected system. Protecting one species often means protecting habitats and food webs that support countless others. Conservation efforts aimed at orcas can have ripple effects, benefiting entire marine communities. Scientists hope that further studies will fill in the gaps about the Type D orca's population size, migration patterns, diet, and social behavior.
The Pacific Whale Foundation says while orcas are usually known to live in a bit more frigid conditions, their behavior itself isn't surprising.
This information is vital for designing effective conservation strategies. Meanwhile, technology continues to offer new ways to track and study these whales remotely, such as drones, underwater microphones, and satellite tags. Citizen science programs may also help by encouraging sailors, fishermen, and tourists to report sightings and share photos. Ultimately, the discovery of the Type D orca is a call to action. It shows that even today, new species and populations remain hidden in our oceans. Protecting these animals means embracing the unknown and committing to responsible stewardship of the marine environment. As we move forward, the hope is that the Type D orca will become not just a scientific curiosity, but a symbol of conservation success. A reminder that, with effort, knowledge, and care, we can safeguard the rich and varied life beneath the waves. The discovery that changes everything. Orcas are more than just iconic predators. They are the ocean's ultimate ecosystem architects. Picture a giant ripple spreading across a vast lake. The presence of orcas can cause a cascade of effects, reshaping the entire marine community in ways we're only beginning to understand. With the discovery of the Type D orca, this story gets even richer and more complex. Orcas occupy the very top of the food chain, meaning their hunting choices send shockwaves through the ecosystem below. When orcas hunt seals, fish, or even sharks, they control the population sizes of those species, which in turn affects the prey those animals consume. This delicate balance keeps entire ecosystems healthy and dynamic. Now, imagine the Type D orca hunting in the icy, nutrient-rich waters near Antarctica, preying on species unique to this environment. Their feeding habits might regulate fish populations that are crucial for other marine animals, from penguins to squid. Losing or disturbing this orca group could create an ecological domino effect, unsettling the balance of one of Earth's most fragile ocean systems. The Type D orca's discovery reminds us that the ocean isn't just home to isolated species, but a web of relationships, many still undiscovered. Each orca type brings its own rhythm to this symphony. Different prey, different behaviors, different ecological roles. This diversity strengthens marine resilience, making ecosystems better equipped to withstand change. Understanding and protecting the Type D orca is not just about preserving a new whale. It's about safeguarding an entire ecosystem that depends on their presence. It's a call to deepen our respect for the ocean's complexity and to recognize that every species, known or unknown, plays a part in the planet's health. The unveiling of the Type D orca is a thrilling reminder that the ocean still holds countless secrets beneath its waves. From its distinctive rounded head and subtle eye patches to its unique social life and genetic fingerprint, this mysterious orca challenges our assumptions and invites us to look closer, listen harder, and rethink what we know about life in the sea. More than just a new entry in the orca family, the Type D orca symbolizes the enduring spirit of discovery in marine science. It urges us to protect these majestic creatures and their fragile habitats, For in their survival lies the health of entire ocean ecosystems, and perhaps the future of our own planet. Thanks again for watching. Don't forget to subscribe for more content like this.